On a Tuesday. It is great to have you here with us today. We've got a very special episode for you today. I'll be speaking with David Bazzel. He's the president of the Media Research Center, a guy who's an expert on the way the media operates and what to expect from them next. He's been watching it really closely. I've got all of that straight ahead on this edition of Vince. I'm glad you're here to join us for this. Hey, I got to thank our great sponsors. Blackout Coffee supercharges this show every single day. Quite literally, it gets me completely amped up. And you know this name, Blackout Coffee. They're the official coffee of everybody here at Silverlock, and there's a reason for that. It's bold, unapologetic, America-first coffee, roasted fresh, right here in the United States. This is not grocery store junk. Blackout Coffee delivers rich, high-quality roasts that actually taste like freedom. And now you can set it and forget it with auto refill and recurring delivery. This means no more running out, no more watered-down backups, just your favorite roast delivered fresh on your schedule. Pick your favorite roast and how often you want it delivered. Not only do you get a discount, but you also get double the rewards and free shipping to your doorstep. Really, Blackout is a fantastic cup of coffee. I say this as a guy who drinks my coffee black, so I know good coffee from bad coffee. Blackout's incredible. And here's what you can do to get that great cup of coffee. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Vince. Use the code Vince. That's VINCE, and you'll get 20% off your first order. Whether you're into bold, dark roasts, flavored coffee, or even instant, Blackout has got your back. Real coffee, no compromise. Blackoutcoffee.com/Vince. Get yours today. The Media Research Center has been the brain room of the American right when it comes to assessing how the media operate, the lies that they are telling you, and just all of the nonsense constantly. And it's been doing that for now, 4 decades, a long time. And the guy who's currently running the operation is the son of founder Brent Bazzel. David Bazzel joins me today in studio, the president of the Media Research Center. David.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
A lot
of
fun.
Brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It's how is your dad doing, by the way? The president appointed him.
He's a royal pain in the you know what right now. He's the president emeritus of the Media Research Center, which means he's got my old office, and he's held up a sign, napping in progress, and he sends emails out to the staff not to wake him up. But he's having a blast.
That's great. So,
and he's South Africa ambassador designee. So I think his hearings are going to be right after Labor Day.
Oh, finally.
Yeah, finally. Yeah, he got caught up in the logjam. I think somebody said that the Senate is on a record pace for presidential confirmations, except for the fact that if they kept up that pace, President Trump's administration would be confirmed in 5.5 years.
It's so crazy that
crazy.
It's taking this long. I just talked to Senator Schmidt, actually. Senator Eric Schmidt was on with us on the radio show on Friday, and he told me that when they get back from recess, that they're going to accelerate everything.
Yeah, they're going to have to.
They've basically come up with an agreement that they're going to try and blow past all this Democrat obstruction.
Yeah, I mean, on balance, there's probably too many people for them to confirm. There's 1,400 political appointees, and then all the ambassadorships go through Senate Foreign Relations. That's the biggest quantity, and so you just get stuck in this logjam. But
the founders did not intend for the president of the United States to never get some of his nominees through. That was not the point of
nor
this.
did the founders intend for the United States Senate to be confirming the deputy of deputy XYZ agency, and so there's just too many people. And frankly, this goes to government largesse questions and just excessive size of government. There's just too many people for them to confirm as the schedule presents itself. And frankly, I mean, not to diminish my father's chances of confirmation, but they need to work harder. They have this sort of Tuesday through Thursday schedule.
Yes,
that needs to be expanded.
Well, I mean, but Democrats, it's also that Democrats are intentionally obstructing this. A lot of these nominees used to make it through something we call unanimous consent, which is they didn't actually have a hearing. There weren't objections raised. Yeah. The president is entitled to get the guys he wants in place. The ambassador to South Africa, really, we're going to make a national issue out of this. But in your father's case, my suspicion is we are, because the left hates your dad and is going to do everything they can to stop him.
Probably some in the Republican echelon as well. But look, yes, I don't think his nomination is controversial at all. Now it's a hot spot. I mean, South Africa is no joke.
That's true.
And there's a lot of saber rattling going on, all China, et cetera. That'll be that's his story to tell. However, I could see why the Senate would have a vested interest in who's going to get that spot.
Yeah.
Geographically, it's an important spot. The president wanted a pit bull. My father's a pit bull. And so I can see them wanting a vested interest. That said, there's just little things in the confirmation process that you sort of see throughout. At one point, they asked, "Is he a published author?"
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, yes,
Yes, he is.
yes, he is. Could you send us everything you've ever written? In 40 years.
Yeah.
I mean, a twice weekly national column. I mean,
Did you guys go in? Did you guys
had
do
to
a
go
big,
find all that stuff?
You did a big dig?
We had a huge dig.
Well, not
Thank
only
God
that,
for ChatGPT, by the way.
Well, you know what they want too? You know what they want for these confirmation processes is not just everything he's ever written, which is already a big haul. They want every interview he's ever done.
Yep.
They want every
transcript, everything.
So didn't your dad appear on Hannity like once a week? For
Once a week,
like 1,000 years.
In the old dadays of the Crossfire, who's on there once or twice a week, with Buchanan and Kinsley and all these guys. So I mean, the McLaughlin show, he did that plenty of times.
Yes. This is a real test.
He guest hosted Rush a couple of times.
This is a real test of the Media Research Center's resources. Like,
yeah,
are you legit? Do you have the library?
Exactly. So we've had to do our own digging for all that stuff to try to help him out. And thank God we've had most of all the television stuff we've had.
Yeah.
I mean, we just crossed our 1 millionth hour of recordings at the Media Research Center.
So tell people in terms of like your library, you do this. I tell my reporters at the Daily Caller, whenever we run up against the wall, we're like, we got to find something from some old CNN thing from a decade ago.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm pretty sure the Media Research Center has it. What do you have? What's the library that you guys maintain?
1 million hours. Everything that's ever been on news, aired on television since 1987 is either on VHS or digitized right now.
Every single
we've had to because VHS tapes only have a shelf life of about 13, 14 years.
Yeah.
We've had to convert all those things.
Digitize them.
Digitize them. So, yeah.
So you have
about 1 million hours.
You have every hour of cable news since 1987?
Just about. I mean, we used to we were in competition, I think, with Vanderbilt for the largest television archive in the world, and I think they even stopped. So I think, yes, we can say confidently that we have the largest television archive in the world.
Isn't that wild?
Sometimes we'll press pause just because with it's actually cheaper, believe it or not.
Yeah,
it was cheaper back then to house the archive than it is now. Now it's because you think, well, it's digitized and it's just cloud and everything's in the cloud and it should be cheaper.
Yes,
the VHS tape was like $3.
Yep.
Right. And so you could put 10 hours on a VHS tape and no problem, and you can hold it presumably for forever. AWS and all the cloud digitizing systems, I mean, they know that we're the only game in town, so it costs us a pretty penny.
Yes,
to put it all together. But it's important to have the verifiable record of how these guys are presenting news and information.
Yes.
And to be able to see, chronologically go back in history to see how they've changed or not changed.
So my guess is that this your dad, it can't be, your dad's confirmation process is not the first time that your media library has been consulted for presidential nominees.
No.
My guess is Republicans have often come to you and said, hey, could we get access
Democrats
to the
too.
archive?
I mean, because we're a C3, we have to answer those phone calls. And so typically in a presidential years when these things get magnified, and we get a lot of phone calls from both presidential campaigns, and then a lot of senatorial campaigns as well.
Oh,
so we'll dish them out because we have to. We're an educational foundation, so by law we have to do that. Back in the late '90s, early 2000s, Daily Wire kind of had us on a speed dial. They were calling us nearly every day because they were running just different clips. Daily Wire. I'm sorry. The Daily Show. With Jon Stewart. So they would want they needed clips, and they weren't taping like we were, and so they would call us. It was not uncommon to get calls from those guys. So all the stuff that you saw on Comedy Central, more often than not, came from us. In terms of if John wanted to run a clip and goof on right.
Was that
whatever.
a weird feeling though? Because
really.
As a conservative, as you're like feeding the Daily Show's engines. And they're using it constantly to like attack conservatives. There must have been some feeling of like, crap, what are they doing?
In some sense, I think one of the things that we wanted to do too was if you couldn't take the heat, you shouldn't be on the air.
True.
We wanted to, if a clip embarrassed a conservative, well, then maybe you got to get better at your presentation.
Yeah.
Right. Now, if it was unfair, yeah, you'd feel a little bad. But again, by law, we had to. We could not discriminate based on political affiliation of the caller,
Right.
who wanted the video. So by law, we had to do it.
Got it.
So you can sit around and feel bad about it, but you got to do it.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't know that. So through the years, I guess I want to get to kind of how the media are today, because they seem as hysterical, over the top, and powerless as I've ever seen them. Like, I think in their powerlessness, they're becoming more crazy. How have you seen the legacy press change through these years that you've been doing this?
Well, listen, their ratings on television are in the toilet, right?
For sure.
CNN lost 50% of its election night audience. It's not just the networks changing or the cables changing. It's also audiences changing.
Yeah.
So I ask people all the time when I do speeches, raise your hand if you watch the presidential election coverage of 2024, the election night returns on television. 80% of the room, their hands go up. Believe it or not, only 23% of the country watched election night returns of the 2024 presidential on television. 23%.
Yeah.
Everybody's coming here. Everybody's coming to podcasting. Everybody's coming to YouTubes and those types of things.
Rumble.
So yeah, right. So everybody's going to these types of places.
Yeah.
And so the networks have had to adjust. Now, I was looking at the top 100 news websites in America. All right, number one, can you guess?
Number one news website in America?
Yeah.
Is it the Daily Mail?
No. New York Times. 435 million hits in the month of June. 435 million.
Wow.
Right? So a lot of that is the Wordle and the crossword puzzles and stuff like that. But to the extent that people, it's still the driver of the narrative for the left is the New York Times. CNN.com is in the top 5. Now, where are these things? CBS, CNN, NBC, MSNBC, all of their ratings are gone down.
Yep.
All their site traffic has gone down.
Yep.
But they have embedded themselves in Apple News. They've embedded themselves in Google News.
Yes.
They've embedded themselves in Yahoo. They've embedded themselves in MSN, which is Microsoft. All those news pages are top 10 in the world monthly.
Right.
Okay, so they're still getting their message out through algorithmic aggregators.
It's a force-feeding operation.
It is. And so that's something that MRC 2.0 has to tackle in terms of our analysis. We've got to get comfortable analyzing the big social media / aggregator platforms like Apple, and a lot of that comes down to exclusivity contracts with these guys. Usually, if you go on Google, Vince, it's New York Times, CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox. New York Times, CBS, NBC, ABC, CNN, Fox. Right, and so the liberal media viewpoint is skewed heavily.
Yes,
on those
that's
big
for sure.
platforms.
And I know
those
you've
guys
been
have hundreds of millions of visitors.
and you've had a great operation digging into all this tech corruption too.
Yeah.
I'll talk more about this in a moment with David Bazzel. Great to have you here with me today. But before we get there, I want to thank our sponsors. Jacked Up Fitness, a great sponsor of this program. More and more Americans are prioritizing their wellness. They're getting back in shape. But studies prove that strength training does a lot more to help burn fat than cardio alone. I've been working with Don and his team over at Jacked Up Fitness for a couple of months now. Let me tell you, these guys really do know what they're doing. Their all-in-one home gyms are already best in class. Trust me, I have one. But now their all-new X Series takes home fitness to the next level. The Power Rack Extreme Functional Trainer lets you do hundreds of exercises, basically everything you would do at the gym right from your spare room or your garage. You want more? Well, the Power Rack Pro X features a fully upgraded cable crossover system with articulating pulley arms for unlimited width combos. You'll hit every muscle group. And if you're new to this, no need to worry. They've got a free Get Jacked Up video program. You just press play and you follow along. So really, no more excuses. Let us do this together. It's good for you. It very much is. Go to getjackedup.com. Use the promo code Vince and save 10%. That's getjackedup.com. Thank you to Jacked Up Fitness. All right, so we're talking about the media, David, and how they've been operating through the years. And as I pointed out a moment ago, I do feel like they are hysterical about their lack of power over the conversation, or at least their dwindling power over the conversation. Yeah. You're right. They are algorithmically forced upon us in many ways. But it does seem that fewer and fewer Americans are even paying attention to those spaces. And a lot of people are just turning to social media to get their news.
Right.
And going to these alternative news sources to get their news. What effect has that had on our press, on the legacy press?
Well, the believability of the media is at an all-time low. I mean, Gallup
Yes.
checks this every single year. I think it's like neck and neck for Pelosi's approval rating and the liberal media's approval rating, right?
Yeah.
There's a race to the bottom. So look, do they get eyeballs? Sure. Does the conservative media ecosystem put a mirror up, and much like Media Research Center does, and has to sort of show the differences, how they present a story versus how we present a story, or how the conservative media ecosystem presents a story? Absolutely.
Yes.
But the believability rate is more important than anything, and the believability rate is in the toilet. So they really are losing credibility by the day. I'll give you an example of why. This is a testament to the archive that we have. The broadcast news networks did not cover the Florida truck driver crash. Okay, guy kills 3 people.
Right.
Allegedly. Okay, allegedly. The guy kills 3 people allegedly. Trump 1.0 refused to give him a license. Okay, the Biden administration gives him a license. He gets one in California, gets one in Washington. He somehow makes it down to Florida, makes an illegal U-turn, kills 3 people allegedly. Not a single second of that was covered by the broadcast news networks. Not a single second. Now, they are not immune to covering other car crashes. They covered all 3 networks covered 4 other car crashes in the month of July. So it's not like they're immune to covering car crashes. But the one that does not fit their open border narrative, they refuse to cover.
Well, that's really the whole thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's now the most prominent way that they use their power is to omit context from their presentation.
Yeah.
So they don't tell you about the illegal alien who's killing people.
Yeah.
They don't tell you about Kilmar Abrego Garcia's MS-13 connection.
Today that's happening with Garcia.
They don't tell you about the crime status in Washington, D.C. They don't tell you about the state of the homicides. They don't tell you that the president has stopped the homicides over the course of the last few weeks. They don't tell you anything. They basically pretend like anything that the left is involved with is running really, really well, and that the president's efforts to confront their actual failures are just a fantasy operation in the service of tyranny.
Yeah. Bogota, Colombia has a 25 times better murder rate than Washington, D.C. Okay. Bogota, Colombia.
Yeah.
The kind of thing that a fair and balanced news operation would present in terms of calculating why is President Trump sending in armed National Guard into the city.
Yes.
We've been in Washington for most of our adult lives. It is not a safe place to walk around most of the time. Mm-hmm. There are good pockets, but there are pockets that have needed improvement for decades. And everyone who lives here understands this.
Yes.
But the media does not want to give Trump credit for anything. Not one thing.
So I have a theory about the effect this is having on the population. And I think you just kind of alluded to the reality of it. Conservatives are more media literate than their liberal counterparts.
Yeah.
Conservatives know a lot more, by and large, on average, than the left does about what's actually going on in the world.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because we are aware of what the left claims the world is, and we're aware of whether or not they're right. We're aware of the responses to that. So, for instance, during COVID, the left had a disproportionately high perception that they were going to die if they caught the virus.
Yeah.
There was something like 40% of all lefties thought that your chances of dying or ending up at the hospital were 50%. I believe that was the number at the time. It was a delusional, overwrought, hysterical interpretation of events that was only fed by the legacy media. That clearly, there was a poll that was done that found that huge numbers, about half of all Democrats, believed that Russia had changed the vote totals in 2016, that they had manipulated the election.
Right.
Normal people, conservatives, were not under that impression. We knew better. We knew that was stupid. That was a lie. And then the Media Research Center, you did a survey about the awareness of the American people about the Hunter Biden laptop saga.
Yeah.
And found that if more people were aware of what was going on, that would have potentially tilted the election for President Trump to win it in 2020.
Yep.
And so with all of that in mind, I can't help but walk away with this conclusion over and over. Conservatives know what's going on, and the left has no idea.
Yeah, we did a survey post 2020 to shine some light on that. We asked only Democrats, were you aware of the Hunter Biden laptop story? To those that answered no, we explained a little bit of the guts of the story. We said, and we followed up. We said, would you have changed your vote?
Yeah.
Right. And enough percentage would have changed their vote to have tilted all 7 swing states into Trump's favor. Okay. All 7. So you're right. They don't pay attention to the other side, the conservative media's ecosystem. A more recent example, in April, Trump's approval ratings were starting to swoon a little bit. A lot of that was the on again, off again tariff discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Breitbart did a very cool analysis of, they aggregated a bunch of polls, and they looked at the crosstabs of the polls in 10-year intervals, 18 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, and so on. In every single age demographic, okay, Trump was either neutral or plus since the inauguration, okay, except for the plus 70 crowd, our more seasoned audience. He was negative 14, okay. Part of that was the liberal media, day in and day out, trying to scare that crowd into saying that the tariffs were going to take away their Social Security.
Yeah.
Right? And if you look at the crosstabs even further, they're doom watching CNN and MSNBC every day. And then come dinner time, they're watching their favorite broadcast news network. And it's just all anti-Trump all day, every day. And so it's almost impossible not to come to the conclusion that Trump is this evil, evil person if that's all you're going to consume.
And that's what I'm seeing. So it's just amazing. It wasn't that long ago that we said, it's the young people who are being misled. They have no idea what's going on. But there's some really interesting and radical demographic shifts going on that President Trump is definitely and hugely responsible for. Young people are many of them are very conservative. And we just saw in nearby Arlington, Virginia this past week, a rally standing up on behalf of transing children, like saying that boys should be in girls' locker rooms, et cetera. And the crowd was full of old people.
Yeah.
It was full of just old hippie Democrats who are there saying that transing the kids is a wonderful thing, and if you don't do it, you're a bad person.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a bunch of young people showing up. It was old people who obviously consume CNN and MSNBC all day.
Yeah.
It really does go to show you that the media, to the extent that it has power, boy, it has a captive audience in an older set.
And the downstream policy effect of that is, in Fairfax County, okay, if there's a segment of kids that are called furries, they'll dress up as cats and dogs, and they'll meow and they'll bark. In Fairfax County, if you're in high school, Vince, and you see a kid wearing a tail, and you pull that tail,
get out of here.
Okay, it is a felony and a hate crime.
No way.
And a $5,000 fine. Okay, for the kid and the kid's family. Okay, and the kids are all warned. Don't you dare pull any tails.
I'm sorry, I've missed this. I follow this a lot. I had no idea.
I just had kids go through high school, and all their friends coming out of the public school system were like, "This is what we were warned in orientation." Okay,
What?
You cannot. If somebody dresses up in a furry outfit and you pull their tail, it's a felony. Okay, so the people making that call, okay, are watching CNN and MSNBC all day long.
Just
and
when
it's
you
so
think
ridiculous. And we were high school guys, right? We were all high school guys. Right? Who among us, if there was a guy, if there was somebody walking
Was
by
the
us
dude
with
wearing
a tail, yeah, wouldn't pull that tail.
What are the penalties for swirlies now?
I know, right?
I wonder.
I know.
I wonder.
It's silly. But,
yeah,
but
I
that's
don't
the kind
remember.
of thing. That's the kind of downstream effect. Some of this coverage and this just obsessive desire that we just cannot treat anyone differently.
So crazy.
Yeah.
Just when you think things can't get more demented.
Yeah.
All right, more in a moment here with David Bazzel. Before we continue, I want to thank Patriot Mobile for being a great sponsor of this program. I know there's a lot of choices out there when it comes to your cell phone service, and there are new ones that are popping up all the time, but here's the truth. There's really only one that boldly stands in the gap for every American. that believes that freedom is worth fighting for, and that's Patriot Mobile. Not only are they leading the way in the patriotic economy, but Patriot Mobile also outperforms the competition when it comes to technology. Patriot Mobile is one of the only carriers with access to all 3 major U.S. networks, and that means exceptional nationwide coverage, along with the ability to have multiple numbers on different networks, all on a single smartphone. That's what I have, meaning I get great voice connection and great data connection all across the country. And they also offer unlimited data plans, mobile hotspots, international roaming, internet backup, and so much more. Switching, totally easy. It's easier than ever, in fact. Activate in just minutes from the comfort of your home. Keep your number, keep your phone, or even upgrade. It's time to make that switch today. Go to patriotmobile.com/Vince or call 972-PATRIOT. Use the promo code Vince for a free month of service. That's patriotmobile.com/Vince or call 972-PATRIOT. Thank you to Patriot Mobile. Also, thank you to Fatty15. You know, if you think about aging at all, like the rest of us, as you get older, you get a little creakier and you're like, oh, where did that pain come from? What's going on with my body? Well, you notice those things as you get older and you notice your energy going down. And what you want to do is you want to do what I did, try and figure out ways to get it back. And I'm so excited to share with you C15 from Fatty15. It's the first essential fatty acid to be discovered in more than 90 years. Fatty15 co-founder Dr. Stephanie Venn Watson discovered the benefits of C15 while working with the U.S. Navy. And based on studies, we do know that when our cells don't have enough C15, they can age faster. It's true. Do the research yourself. I did. Fatty15 is awesome. It can help you repair and protect age-related damage to your cells and help activate pathways in the body that repair mechanisms that support your overall wellness. Fatty15 is a science-backed, award-winning, vegan, 100% pure C15 supplement, and refills are shipped right to your door. I take it every morning, first thing in the morning. You're going to love this stuff. Fatty15 is on a mission to optimize your C15 levels to help support your long-term health and wellness, especially as you age. You can get an additional 15% off their 90-day subscription starter kit by going to fatty15.com/Vince. Use the code Vince at checkout. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Thank you to Fatty15. All right. David Bezell, of course, here with us, the president of the Media Research Center. I want to talk to you about how the media are reacting to the president's administration holding people accountable. Yeah. There was a raid on John Bolton's home on Friday in Bethesda, Maryland. It appears that the reason that raid occurred was that there was a very mature investigation into his theft of classified information and dissemination of it that was going on. The Biden administration got rid of that investigation. They canceled it out, but it's been restarted by the current FBI led by Dan Bongino and Kash Patel. So they sent guys over and they raided the house and the office on Friday, and we'll see what that investigation yields. But the media this weekend went absolutely crazy over this, yeah. David. They were saying that this was Soviet, this was the show me the man, I'll show you the crime operation. They were bringing out all sorts of people who've made excuses for tyranny at the hands of the state when it's targeting conservatives. What do you make of this reaction from the press, and how much crazier do you think it'll get if we start seeing Democrats picked up here?
This is why they have their believability rate is in the toilet. They spent the better part of 3 or 4 months cheerleading the Biden administration, going down to Mar-a-Lago and rummaging through Melania Trump's dressers.
Yep.
They spent the better part of 2021 and 2022 cheerleading, morning, noon, and night. This absurd case that Letitia James brought to the president and dumped on his lap. It's funny that it's interesting that the Bolton announcement came right on the heels of the $536 million settlement in New York City being wiped off the books for the president. Mm-hmm. He's enjoying, well, I'll stop short to suggest that he's enjoying wins in these areas. However, he's been vindicated.
Sure.
Now, the press is going to have a choice. Okay, if the investigation shows clear and present evidence that people within the Biden administration, Obama administration, and perhaps even people who were in Trump 1.0 were engaging in treasonous activities, are they going to cover this thing fairly? Or they would have to at some point admit their own complicity in this whole deal. because they certainly played along. It was interesting when Obama descends onto Washington in 2008. No one really knows him, right? All the Washington press corps has to befriend them,
Right.
to befriend the Obama sort of entourage. And he has enjoyed sweetheart coverage ever since.
For sure.
And he has been sort of the narrative of President Obama is that he can do no wrong.
He's been deified.
He's been deified, and the question really becomes, I think he probably enjoys immunity on these decisions when he was in office. But if he was involved in President Trump's persecution after his term was over, it's game on. And they're going to defend him, and they're going to try to paint Trump as the authoritarian and the fascist and only out for retribution. But this is what the country, I think, voted President Trump 2.0 to do, right? Give us truth on COVID. You mentioned COVID early.
Yeah.
Give us truth on the election of 2020. Give us truth on Russia. Russia has now become puppet. That's the refrain, that he's just a puppet of Putin. The guy's trying to end a war where I think 6 or whatever the number is. I think it's very difficult to get a hard number, but
Do you think the media,
3 million people have died?
Do you think the media would rather more people die in Ukraine than President Trump bring up peace?
Wow. I think some.
Yeah.
I think some.
They don't want a victory for Trump.
They don't want a victory for Trump. They don't want safe cities. They don't want clean streets. They don't want secure borders, because those were the things that he ran on and promised he would do, and he's doing them. They don't want the Democrat apparatus to be embarrassed any more than they already are. They're trying to help the Democrat Party, trying to get their sea legs back.
Yeah.
To find something they can run on in 2026 and beyond. Good luck throwing your hat in with Gavin Newsom. I mean, I as a conservative, I welcome his entry into the race.
Who's the media's candidate right now?
Well, right now it's Gavin, because he can do some things on social media that the other guys can't. If I were running the Democrat Party, not that they're asking my advice, I'm looking for a red state governor. It's kind of what they do when they are in trouble, right? Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton. Red state governors are people that I've never really heard of, that could sort of pierce through their liberalism and reach the center a little bit more. But they are so militant now and so anti-Trump in this era that I think they're probably going to gravitate to the person who bangs their pots and pans the loudest and the best on social, and that's probably going to be Governor Newsom.
Yeah. Well, they're trying. But, man, I tell you what, I know that they keep trying, but as I point out, I do think that they're losing. I'm encouraged by it. I think they're losing power. You know, even like this MSNBC rebrand thing. Yeah. It's like it's just kind of sad to watch them whimper away to their death.
You couldn't get more boring.
Yeah.
The MS Now and just the blue motif, and it's the same thing as Cracker Barrel. You couldn't get more boring.
Yes.
The rebrand of that was just boring and dull. This is why the kid in New York is having success, right?
Yes.
He's not doing any of that. Right, he's doing scavenger hunts with his activists, in the middle of Manhattan.
That's right.
If you're young and so I mean, New York's a little bit of a different story, because there's so much childless stuff going on there. There's just your young professionals that don't have children to care about,
right?
And so some of those other public policy issues that would usually sort of surface up to the top don't surface to the top. It's all about me. But he's doing different things. He's not using the liberal media, right? They'll echo him, but he's not going to liberal media for permission, right? He's going past and through them, because he knows, just like we do,
right,
that their credibility is in the toilet. So why get in bed with those guys? So he's doing some different things, and it's attractive to some young people in New York City. But I think at the presidential level, I think Newsom has a leg up for sure, because he's good on social. And it gives the media something to talk about.
Yes, and they think that he kind of
like Wes Moore doesn't give people anything to talk about. It's kind of, all due respect, he's just kind of like Like wallboard's more
Right.
more
And also
exciting.
the legacy media's view on this is like that Gavin Newsom fits a formulaic, kind of archetypical.
Yeah.
He's a good-looking guy. He's kind of doing what Trump did, and what Trump did was successful, so therefore what Gavin Newsom's going to do is successful. It's very a low IQ assessment, but it's very typical for the media.
And he acquitted himself pretty well in the debate he had with DeSantis. Being fair about it. I mean, DeSantis had the numbers and had the policy, but Newsom had made a better presentation than DeSantis did when those two did that one-off debate.
Yeah,
during the campaign.
because Newsom is willing to casually lie to suggest that he's more moderate than he actually is.
And the press won't call him out at all. So that'll be the baked-in advantage that he has. Yeah. A lot of people say, well, you have to go at him on the policy, on his policies. I don't know how that's going to work because the press isn't going to back you up at all.
No, which is why which is why we just have to keep rooting on their demise. And when we write the obituary, the Media Research Center is where we're going to find all the content.
Thanks, brother.
Hey,
Appreciate
David
it.
Bazell, it's great to see
Thanks,
you today,
man.
brother. Thank
Thanks.
you very much for being here.
Anytime.
That's David Bazell. Our thanks again to him for joining us on this edition of Vince. I've got the big national radio show coming up today, 12 to 3 Eastern time. You can check that out, thevinceshow.com. Find your local listings. We'll go to rumble.com/Vince. You can watch it there. And, of course, you can always join us here on the podcast. Make sure to subscribe wherever you're getting this thing, whether it's on Rumble or on the podcast, anywhere else. Appreciate you. Best damn audience in media. I'm back with you tomorrow on Vince.